steeped in history and tradition. The oldest football competition in the world. Almost as old as football itself.
Radford again. Oh, what a goal! What a goal! Radford the scorer. Ronnie Radford. And the crowd are invading the pitch. Now he can find Villa.
The FA Cup conjures up memories which last an eternity.
Going all the way. And Villa! 3-2 to Tottenham.
Fantastic start. Roberto Di Matteo. And Gerrard. Oh, goodness me.
From the Wanderers to Chelsea. And all those in between. Matthews to Mourinho. Just two of the famous names immortalised since 1872.
Liverpool have turned it round. The boy is a genius.
Today, a team with dreams of etching its name into football folklore faces an opponent which has done it all before. A place in legend is the prize for the Latics, hoping to emulate the giant killers of yesteryear. City aiming to build a dynasty and stand alongside the greats of the past. The hallowed turf of Wembley Stadium, the venue as Manchester City and Wigan vie for the oldest trophy in world football, the FA Cup. It's the 132nd final, live on SBS 1 and in HD. The fans have descended on the English capital for this great occasion in their thousands, the first ever meeting in an FA Cup final of these two Lancashire clubs. It's City's second final in 3 years, and manager Roberto Mancini would love nothing more than another trophy to cap off a somewhat disappointing season. It's Wigan's first ever FA Cup final, and it's a welcome distraction for the Latics as they face a battle for survival in the English Premier League.
It's been another exhilarating season in the world's oldest cup competition. And to begin, we reflect on the story so far. Back in August, the campaign kicked off in the qualifying rounds with a unique initiative at Wembley FC. Cup sponsors Budweiser demonstrated their commitment to grassroots development with investment to improve the club's facilities, and they recruited Terry Venables as technical director. Ray Parlour and Graham Lasso came out of retirement to play in the extra preliminary tie, but another famous name made the first impression.
Look at this, Claudio Caniggia, and he has done it!
Sadly, the run ended abruptly for Wembley as they were soundly beaten 5-0 by Uxbridge. South Park did progress to the final qualifying round and hoped to rob London's Metropolitan Police of a place in the first round proper. But a 3-0 win sent the Met through for the first time in 20 years. The dream ended there for the Police, but Dorchester of the Conference South provided a real shock, beating League Two Plymouth to reach the second round. The highlight of which came on an emotional day in Milton Keynes. After 10 years of acrimony, MK Dons and AFC Wimbledon met for the first time since both clubs' controversial formation. Stephen Gleeson's stunning strike gave the hosts the lead on the stroke of half-time. AFC levelled through Jack Midson's header, which provided a moment of catharsis for the travelling support. But the cruel beauty of the cup was underlined when John Otsemabor's last-minute goal broke AFC hearts to send Milton Keynes into round 3. It was round 4, though, that provided some of the biggest upsets in recent history. Luton Town stunned Norwich to become the first non-league side since 1989 to knock out top-flight opposition. At Boundary Park, a double from Matt Smith and Reece Wabara's header helped Oldham secure a famous upset over 7-time winners Liverpool. Former giants Leeds United surprised Tottenham, 2-1 at Ellen Road. League One Brentford pushed Chelsea all the way. The Bees leading twice before Fernando Torres rescued a replay, from which the Blues emerged 4-0 winners. Arsenal's hopes of ending their trophy drought were finished by Championship strugglers Blackburn in round 5. Colin Kazim-Richards ensuring a shock at the Emirates. At the quarter-final stage, holders Chelsea overcame Manchester United in a replay at Stamford Bridge. Everton was stunned by 3 first-half goals in quick succession as Wigan moved into their first ever FA Cup semi-final against Championship Millwall. Sean Maloney put Roberto Martinez's side 1-0 up at Wembley before Callum McManaman sealed their place in the final against either Chelsea or Manchester City. And the following day it was the deposed Premier League champions who progressed with a 2-1 win. Chelsea's first FA Cup defeat at the new Wembley. City's second final in 3 years.
Welcome back. That's Wembley Stadium, looking pretty resplendent. That's the new version of Wembley Stadium, opened in 2007, of course. A wonderful place. The Champions League final will be there a little bit later this month. But there are the Man City fans who are expecting another trophy to come their way today.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it and thank the members of the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra and dancers from the Performers College, Essex. Now, in keeping with tradition, we will sing the FA Cup hymn, Abide With Me, the words to which you will see on the giant screen and the LED ribbon. We will be led this afternoon by the singing quartet Amore, who will be accompanied by members of the Royal Philharmonic Concert Orchestra, conducted and arranged by Cliff Masterson.
For thee,
Ladies and gentlemen, now thanks to the stunning performance from Amore and the Royal Philharmonic Concert Orchestra.
I'll welcome Stuart Robson and myself, Martin Tyler, to one of the great events on the English sporting calendar. Not all Englishmen involved, but there's a proud one there. The owner of Wigan Athletic, Dave Whelan. And down here in northwest London, two northwest rivals. Manchester City in their 10th final against Wigan Athletic, who are in their first. Stuart, it looks set up for City, but this is the FA Cup.
Wigan have shown this season that they can beat some top opposition. Got a good way of playing, they play some good football, they play at a high tempo on occasions, but they don't play with consistency. So it's which Wigan is going to turn up here today. Is it going to be the one that could cause Manchester City problems, or the one that could be make defensive mistakes and be cut open by Manchester City?
Clubs actually met only 3.5 weeks ago in Manchester in the Premier League. It was a very tight contest, which only went City's way in the closing stages through a fine goal from Carlos Tevez. But here is Dave Whelan. The stadium has changed, but this is the setting when 53 years ago he played for Blackburn Rovers. He didn't last that long. He was carried off on a stretcher with a broken leg. He ended up with a loser's medal. He hopes the club that he has nurtured and developed as a Premier League club owner can give him a special treat, but they have very formidable opposition. City should finish second in the Premier League. Wigan may well be relegated. The guest of honour is Dave Clark, England's greatest goal scorer. 144 caps, 128 goals in international football for the England and Great Britain blind football teams. Assisted by the outgoing chairman of the Football Association, David Bernstein, and of course the Manchester City skipper, Vinnie Company. Sometimes, Stuart, favouritism, and they are strongly fancied, can be a burden.
It can be. Manchester City, I think, have to play at a high tempo. When I've seen them play poorly this season, it's when they've kept the ball at the back, they've tried to play into midfield too slowly, they haven't got the ball into the front areas quickly enough. That is what they can't do against Wigan, because Wigan will catch them on the counter-attack. So I think Manchester City have to start the game at a high tempo.
Special greeting for Dave Whelan. That injury at the old Wembley virtually finished his playing career, but he has not been lost to football. His young manager Roberto Martinez, Emerson Boyce, with Joseph Kendrick, who is a handicapped son of the local reporter on the Wigan Observer, Paul Kendrick. Wigan players right behind the charity which young Joseph represents. Wembley, an absolute picture. Choreography has gone well. Let's hope that the football does the same. It's building its own history, the new stadium. 7th final here. The previous 6 have been dominated by Chelsea with 4 wins, but City knocked them out in the semi-final. We are set for the national anthem. stadium swathed in blue. The officials, their own distinctive coloured tops. Roberto Mancini, a lot of talk about him today as to whether he's coming to the end of his time as Manchester City's manager. If he does leave, he'll be hoping to leave with a second FA Cup in 3 seasons, with a league title sandwiched in between. Manchester City fills 6 of the side, which started that triumph here in the FA Cup 2 years ago, though there is a different captain. Vincent Kompany has replaced Carlos Tevez. One of them plays his first tie since then, Joe Hart. Costel Pantilimon, who has featured in all the previous rounds, misses out on the big day. Nastasic, Clichy, Nasri and Aguero have all arrived since that win over Stoke. Goals from Nasri and Aguero got them past Chelsea here in the semi-final.
With Tevez and Aguero playing through the middle, expect plenty of combination play between the two, with Nasri and Silva joining in from wider positions. That should leave space for Zabaleta and Clichy to break forward at every opportunity. Touré and Barry will hope to win their midfield battle in order for Manchester City to dictate the pace of the game.
Well, Wigan have also changed their semi-final goalkeeper. The man from Oman, Ali Al-Habsi, loses out to the 23-year-old Spaniard Joel. They've been hit by injuries to defenders. Ramis, Figueroa, Stam all out, and Bosajur, who has been an emergency left-back, has joined them. But Antonin Alcaraz does return after a hamstring problem. There's one other change to report from Tuesday's Premier League defeat against Swansea. Jordi Gomez, who's been a standout in the run to the final, is preferred to Ben Watson.
It looks as though Martinez will continue to play with a back three. However, that will require McCarthy to play right wing-back, with Espinosa down the left. In central midfield, McArthur and Gomez will need to combine defensive qualities with their passing ability to allow the front three to cause City as many problems as possible with their pace and trickery.
Well, it is a great honour for the refereeing fraternity to be on duty on Cup Final Day. The honour this year goes to Andre Mariner. Well, Wigan have beaten only one Premier League team to get here. A tremendous victory it was, though. 3-0 at Everton in the quarter-finals. He'll need his team to replicate that sort of form. City saw off Stoke in round 4. They won a great battle with the holders Chelsea here in the semis. But for most of the progress for both clubs has been against teams from lower divisions. The draws have been kind. Not so kind, the decision-making that's left Pantilimon on the bench. He played well in the cup run for Manchester City, but he has said over the past few days that he wants to leave, and maybe that went against him. Deeper shade of blue of Wigan obviously caused a colour clash, but they're happy to be in their second strip of black. They had to wear red here in the semi-final. It's not a colour that they've enjoyed sporting. And City in their traditional light blue. Amazingly, the clubs first met 42 years ago in the FA Cup. City were, as they are now, a power in the land. Wigan were a non-league team. They only lost 1-0. Almost as great at underdogs today as they were then. And here's Alcaraz, whose return could be important for Wigan, just to how well that damaged hamstring stands up. I've been looking through their ranks and saying, well, who's the least injured who can play? Meanwhile, City very much at full strength. It was a struggle to get a place on the bench, really. And here's Aguero. Zabaleta goes ahead of him, but has run offside, and David Silva and Yaya Touré, who scored the winner in the final 2 years ago, and the semi-final that season as well. Nastasic.
Interesting to see Aguero's pulling in behind Espinosa. Left wing back, just forcing him back. Shannon will have to come out at some point and release Espinosa to go and mark David Silva.
Silva, Aguero, and it runs on to Zabaleta, a little fortunately for Manchester City. Silva coming in, Espinosa gets it away. You feel it's important that Wigan build some sort of platform here and don't go behind early. Kone would be even better for them if they went ahead early. Kone trying to barrel their way through unsuccessfully. Toure. Chance for Clichy to get forward. Plenty of City players in the middle. Should the cross come in? Wasn't really played as that. Now Nasri. Nasri and Silva, the two ex-Arsenal men. Nastasic snapping it forward. Aguero on the move. And the decision is given just outside the penalty area.
Great start from Manchester City, playing on the front foot. Already seen players go in behind Espinosa. This is what he does so well, Aguero, wriggling in between challenges.
He was just clipped in the initial stages of that burst by Emerson Boyce. City maybe just moving the ball back a little further away from the actual offence to try and get some distance to get the ball up and down again and give Joel a really early problem here with Carlos Tevez, who scored very late to beat Wigan and Joel last month in the Premier League. Now has a chance to score very early in the 2013 FA Cup final. Let's see if he holds his seniority over Yaya Toure.
Tevez will try and bend it, he takes it. Toure will try and blast it, it's just touched to the side for him. It looks like he's walking away, so it will be Carlos Tevez.
Carlos Tevez trying to give Manchester City a perfect start here. Charged down by the wall. Yaya Toure shoots, pushed out by Joel, and the flag goes up against Aguero, who was following in and was offside.
It's a save he should have made, but made it all the same. Not a particularly good free kick, and it comes out to Yaya Toure. Just slices across the ball, but you can see Aguero and Silva were both offside. Just pushes it far enough away from the danger area.
Had a little bit of a boost earlier today, Wigan, with Aston Villa losing at home to Chelsea in the one Premier League fixture that's being played today. And Christian Benteke being sent off and suspended for the last league game for Villa, which is at Wigan a week tomorrow. It's a relegation issue, but just maybe help them with their FA Cup final thought process. I think they're fairly relaxed about it, Stuart. This is a day where they've been under so much pressure playing every league game. They can just take in this piece of history for Wigan Athletic Football Club, and maybe that will help them get what they've come here to do, which is, of course, not just to make up the numbers, but win the FA Cup.
I think the key area for them, there's Joe Hart. He's got the nod. Not the pent anymore. The man under pressure, so we were led to believe. Could this be the first time that Martinez doesn't keep Wigan away from the drop? A great cup run they've had. The player that I think will be key for Wigan will be Gomez. He's playing in a central midfield. He's going to have a lot of responsibility. He's wonderful on the ball. He can see a pass.
And he can score a goal.
He can score a goal, but defensively, I think he could be a weak link.
Callum McManaman, who's certainly emerged through this wonderful cup run that you're describing, Stuart, having scored in the 5th round, the 6th round and the semi-final. Of lace repair for James MacArthur. He probably is more suited to defending, and for the moment has gone into the right wing-back position. McCarthy being freed up to play where he would prefer to play more centrally. We'll see whether that's just temporary or a real early switch. Foul, is it by Alcaraz? No.
That's definitely the way they're lining up. McCarthy in central midfield. MacArthur at right wing back. He's going to be forced back a lot. Nasri now going really wide. Tevez joining in, so that makes a 2 against 1 against the wing-back. He's done well there.
Jordi Gomez. Kone's been a terrific acquisition for Roberto Martinez. Here's Shana, who's come back to the club on loan at the moment from Hamburg. McManaman does a lot of his work at top pace. Espinoza. MacArthur. McManaman encouraged to have a go here. But, got past Clichy momentarily, gave the ball away. Wigan get it back, give it away again to Jordi Gomez. And here's Aguero. 7 meetings in a row in the league coming into this game between the clubs. The last 7 times they've played each other, all 7 won by Manchester City. Wigan not 1 goal to show for their efforts in those 7 games.
Moments that will encourage Martinez. 2 crossfield passes. Just found Espinoza out on this left-hand side. They didn't make the most of it. They are playing with wing-backs. That is the ball that can catch the opposition out. High up the field, switch the play quickly.
Zabaleta. Picked off by Alcaraz. Certainly he was quick off the mark there, not protecting the recent injury. Toure nicely measured into the stride of Gareth Barry. Aguero. Maybe for a shot. Emerson Boyce got a foot in. Maloney. McManaman's done very well under pressure here. Here's Kone. Espinoza on the gallop down the left-hand side. It's a lovely ball into McManaman's stride. He's got a chance here. First chance of the final. Well, he was trying to just bend it inside that far post.
Well, it was brilliant play from McManaman in the first place. On the halfway line, he had to work for his space. Then he switched it out to Kone. And once Kone pulled it inside, the fullback Clichy doesn't get round on the cover. Stasic doesn't get tight enough. See exactly what he's trying to do. Could he have got the shot away with his right foot? Then he doesn't get it out of his feet. Gets it stuck under his feet, and that's why he can't get the whip on it that he required. But a good bit of play from the wide right player.
And Kone disappointed, but they need to stick together rather than criticise each other. And Roberto Martinez, fulsome in his praise. A well done, you saw from the Wigan dugout. But here comes Silva and Zabaleta going in. The flag has gone up. It's not finished off in the end. Carlos Tevez.
If Wigan hold such a high line, it's only a matter of time before one of these City players find the right pass. I mean, we're talking inches there, and Zabaleta's caught offside. How many runs has he made like that this season, Zabaleta? Used to be Micah Richards from this right-hand side, but Zabaleta, usually the timing is perfect, and I think he got the timing right. The player on the ball didn't.
Zabaleta, according to his peers, the Professional Footballers Association voted him the best right-back in their all-star team of the season. There weren't too many people disputing that.
He must be one of the best right-backs in the world at the moment. And two of the other top candidates just going off the ball slightly.
Late by Nasri on Maloney. There's no doubt that Maloney and McManaman and Kone, they have the attacking potential, but watching Wigan as I did on Tuesday, you felt before the game that they would have to score 3 to win. Well, in the end it turned out they would have to score 4 to win, and they only got 2 of them. Here is the gifted Maloney. It's not tumbling by company, but Wigan kept the ball and they're good at that. Jordi Gomez. Kone. Again. Suddenly Espinoza in the box. The cross was actually attempted by McManaman.
You're absolutely right. The front players came out the box to set up the play. Espinoza was right round the back. There was no way he was going to get on the end of a cross.
Kone. Deflected through to him. There was 2 appeals by City, but deflection may be allowed McManaman to play on. A little spell this from Wigan Athletic. McCarthy. Here comes Sharna. Espinosa tussle with Zabaleta. Unfair challenge by the Manchester City right back.
I'm not sure about that one on first viewing. Looked as though Espinosa had too readily what he was going to do. So he was going to pinch the ball off of him. That's the other side of Zabaleta, a really good 1v1 defender.
Alcaraz and Boyce. And it's overcooked by Jordi Gomez, who raises an arm in apology. Hart didn't have to raise 2 arms to deal with it. Well, you talk about, rightly so, Stuart, the speculation around Roberto Mancini. There's speculation around Roberto Martinez as well, because after next weekend, the vacancy at Goodison Park with David Moyes moving to Manchester United will be strongly discussed, and Martinez's name has been in the frame. Not the only name, mind you.
Certainly be a different culture, wouldn't it, at Everton? Martinez. Style of football as well. So he's put himself no harm with that great victory against Everton in the Cup.
McCarthy will do himself further good if it's a great victory here. From Espinosa. Chana. Alcaraz. Jordi Gomez. Quite happy to pass the ball backwards as well as forwards. McManaman beaten in the air by Clichy. Maloney. MacArthur. And McCarthy. Espinosa gets a good head to it against Zabaleta. Still Roger Espinosa, the Honduran, he's very left-footed and didn't want to let fly with his right. But Wigan probe again and get a corner.
A really good play from Wigan. There was the switch of play. Zabaleta actually got himself in a good position to go and challenge the ball, but because he lost it and went to ground, meant there was a 2v1 against the defender, Company. As you quite rightly said, Espinosa could have had a sweep with his right foot at that one.
Hart poised, the starting position off his line. And, I guess a possibility that Sharna might have looped that past Joe Hart, but it couldn't quite get over the top of it.
Sort of zonal marking system that Manchester City use on that occasion. He doesn't really attack the ball. Sharna is good in the air. Scoring a semi-final of the League Cup against Arsenal. The far post in one of his early games.
I think it was his first game. And Wigan got to that final in the League Cup. It wasn't at Wembley, it was while the stadium was being built. It was played in Cardiff. They were heavily beaten by Manchester United on the day. It's unusual, though. They've reached 7 finals. Spectacular effort by Maloney, who's capable of the spectacular. Reached the FA Trophy final for non-league teams, the Football League Trophy final, the League Cup final, and now the FA Cup final.
They're just beginning to dominate this game the last 5 or 6 minutes. Espinosa went past Silva, who hardly touched the ball in this first 15-16 minutes.
That's a great run by Aguero. Tevez looking to get into the middle, and Andre Marin is not going to buy that. It's wasteful though from Sharna. Got the man over maybe maybe Zabaleta's going infield a little bit now. David Silva. Nasri, still a bit narrow. Yaya Toure just pulling a bit wider. Jordi Gomez arm down by side, and Yaya Toure questions the assistant. What about this one?
Well, he knocks it through the legs of Alcaraz, but there's not too much the defender can do about that.
Nasri. Stretch by Maloney. Kone's run forward has stretched the defenders a little bit for City. There's McCarthy almost taking it back into trouble. MacArthur looking for Kone. He's just glanced it away from Zabaleta. Espinosa might have thought it came off the man, but it didn't. This was the effort. Another handball, Stuart, was that?
No, it wasn't. Just slicing off the boot. Hits him on the leg and the hand, but well, you can't give a penalty.
When your arm's so tight down by your side, you've got to put your arm somewhere. Here's David Silva. Made a bit of space for himself and maybe now for his team. David Silva. Knocked away by Jordi Gomez. Played away by McCarthy. Espinosa. Flick from Kone, and he's got it back. Hard work done by McCarthy under pressure, but beautifully executed. Aruna Kone goes on. And like most strikers, couldn't resist having a shy at goal. And get a Wembley strike to his name. Wigan come again, and they've been doing that.
MacArthur was free on the far post. He made a really good run from right wing back when Kone came in field. He didn't see him.
Jordi Gomez. Ooh, and well, there was a little bit of hesitation by McManaman. If he'd gone full tilt straight away.
Well, when we've seen him on the ball, he's looked as though he's got really good pace. He's gone past Clichy, or certainly come inside Clichy. On that occasion, he looked favourite to win the ball. He looked a bit leggy.
David Silva losing Gomez. Been deflected in by Aguero. I wonder whether the flag would have gone up.
There's that flat back line that worries me so much for Wigan. As Silva comes in field here. Only 5 yards away. It's too easy to play the ball in between them. That's why they are near the foot of the table. Not because they're lack of quality going forward, but because they can't defend particularly well.
There's more quality going forward. It sometimes seems as if he's got a charge of electricity through him. He was picked for one of the earlier rounds in the FA Cup by Roberto Martinez, who didn't tell him the night before the game, although he'd made the decision because he thought McManaman wouldn't sleep. He's of a nervier disposition than some players. I'm sure that'll change as he gets more and more first-team football and more recognition. See a little bit of that nervous nature in what happens when he gets the ball. Not because he's tentative, because he's tense really, and the touch is sometimes too heavy. He's working on him now, Roberto Martinez. He'll be pleased.
Certainly pleased with the first 20 minutes. It's important when you do play with the back three, and I'm sure Martinez will be saying that to his centre halves. It's important that they do come out with the ball at times. I see a lot of back three play in Italy and other countries, and the most important attacking players are the positions that Boyce and Shana are playing in, because when the play switch, they're the ones that can come out with the ball.
McCarthy. So very gifted, still young. He needs to just score a few more goals. He got a goal against Swansea on Tuesday. It was only the second game he'd scored in this season. Others like Kone have been delivering more regularly. He's the leading scorer with 13.
Zabaleta did well there not to dive in. I thought about the slide challenge, but Kone was looking just to nick it over him. Kone run it out of play.
corner's header. Jordi Gomez has done well. Espinosa. Honduran has been playing in the USA. Chelsea can use his right foot, but the cross that would have come with the left. Into Maloney. Silva's passing wide.
Worth a shot though. Too easy for Espinosa just to play it in for the run of Maloney. Coming in off the touchline.
Toure.
Aguero made 2 or 3 magnificent runs up front to try and get away from defenders, to get in behind the back three of Wigan. Yaya Toure didn't see them.
No, and Aguero was left just standing hands on hips, as you say, going, in a minute, there's a real chance to get in behind the way Wigan are defending.
Just watching the two centre-halves who were marking him on both occasions he made the runs. And they just stood there and allowed him to run in behind, and he timed the runs perfectly. I can understand wanting to squeeze up to condense the play. You've also got to be ready for the ball played in behind you.
David Silva. Nastasic coming forward and tempted to try his luck. Roberto Mancini has spent quite a lot of the season, when asked, complaining about the lack of quality in the signings in the last summer transfer window. But Nastasic, who was one of those, has certainly been proved to be a very good buy. But what does the future hold for him?
What did his staff alongside him? Just been a bit dead in this game so far.
To make the decisions, looking down from on high. Whether it's the thumbs up or the thumbs down, we'll learn over the next few days, I guess. It's good work by McManaman again. A chance for Manchester City to counter-attack here. I've been trying to stop that happening, but the spare man for City is Barry. This is Tevez. Al Nasri. Yaya Toure. Got a shot on him. Chooses to try and lift it forward in the end. Tevez involved again. By Zabaleta. He loses out to Espinosa, who was hanging up on the deck with David Silva protesting that he didn't make any contact at all. But Espinosa is a smiley character, had a few words before he started to smile.
He just catches Honduran. Poor pass from Zabaleta. David Silva's the player that hasn't really been involved for Manchester City so far. Such a brilliant passer, so creative, good movement. Hasn't really happened for him. And on this right-hand side so far.
I guess it would be an upset of the magnitude of maybe Sunderland 40 years ago, when they, the second tier, beat star-studded Leeds United. Southampton beat Manchester United 76 at the old Wembley. West Ham in the second tier when they beat Arsenal in 1980. Coventry weren't fancied at all against Tottenham, and of course, club you know a lot about, Wimbledon. Stuart beat the glittering Liverpool in 1988. Wimbledon, like Wigan, came from the non-league ranks in the 70s.
Slightly different style of football, I think, from Wimbledon that day.
Yes. MacArthur is probably not the most gifted of the style of football that Wigan are trying to play here, trying to work her way through individually.
A good little step over from him. Good defending from Gareth Barry, just getting back. Otherwise, he would have been in, MacArthur.
Well, if you're watching and you didn't know too much about Wigan Athletic, I think you would have been pleased with what you've seen from them. They've certainly given Manchester City some cause for thought. Their movement, their ability to keep the ball, they can go long when they want. What they do this time, Boyce, McManaman's offside.
He ran a bit early there, McManaman, but I've been quite impressed with his movement. A couple of times when there hasn't been a pass, I think it comes and spins. Fractionally offside. On other occasions when he ran in behind, realised the ball wasn't coming and made himself available. He didn't get that chance. It was a brilliant movement to start with when the ball was played into him.
Massive contrast here, the mega bucks of Manchester City. Really, Wigan Athletic, a small town club, certainly by Premier League standards. Football for many years hasn't even been the major sport in the town. Rugby league team had over 20 visits to Wembley, old and new.
Just couldn't keep it in. Espinosa started the game poorly, as though he could be a real problem for him. The way that Manchester City were doubling up, Aguero pulling out to this right-hand side, and Chini's just trying to make one or two alterations. Away, Nasri tries to make a little diagonal run, the player he was talking to.
Yaya Toure. I'm quite happy to see City passing about in this part of the pitch. And Tevez deep. As Aguero has been trying to look off the shoulder of the last defender. More angle on it, which involves Nasri rather than the Argentine. Here is Sami Nasri. Silva. And somehow it's kept out. Carlos Tevez thought the goal was gaping for him. Joel had other ideas.
That's better from Manchester City. Not good defending by MacArthur there. Went with the run of Clichy. There's the cutback. He tries to go back across the goalkeeper. Brilliant combination play, but a great save from Joel with his trailing leg.
We've got 2-on-1 at the short corner, at least initially, Manchester City. Barry. David Silva. Sharma should be able to clear here, and he clears the Wigan way with a short pass. Able to deal with the attempted diagonal towards Kone. Good work by the powerful Yaya Toure. City fans encouraged by the chance that Tevez had but couldn't take, and it's deflected back into his stride, and he went simply for power.
Could he have taken it on? I think he could have done there. He tried to play the ball inside for a 1-2. Sharma read it, but it bounces off his leg straight back into his path. I think he can take another touch against Alcaraz. There's the chance up the other end. Really good cutback. His eyes were lightning up there. And there's that trailing right leg, just the end of the toe that gets on it.
Tevez reaching for it. Joel reaching for it. So, half an hour gone. First third, if it's going to be finished in the 90 minutes, extra time and penalties, of course, the order of the day. The replays long gone from the day when Manchester City drew here in the famous final in 1981. And then just seen Tevez, Argentine Ricky Villa, scored for Spurs a goal that's been voted the best ever in an FA Cup final. And the replay for Tottenham, City were beaten. Silva, Sami Nasri. Well played, Anderson. Boyce playing the 500th game of his career, incidentally. Quite a day to have it.
I think that's his best position when he's playing on the right-hand side of the back three. I've seen him at wing-back on occasions. I've seen him at right-back. been in the middle of the centre halves, but I think he's at his best when he's combined his almost right wing-back duties with right-sided centre half. He's got pace, he reads danger well, he's good in the air.
There goes City's way. Company. Nastasic. High Wigan line, but it works with a cutout from MacArthur, then McCarthy to Kone. Knows where Espinosa is on the left, but it's through the middle. And Jordi Gomez. Company kept his arms by his side and his hands behind his back. Maloney. Espinosa. Jordi Gomez. Shana. So they'd be in trouble if they lost the ball there, Wigan, but they didn't lose it. Boyce.
If we'd have switched the play a bit quicker out to Boyce, he would have had a 20-30 yard run into open space to find the next pass. I didn't see it early enough.
Barry. Shuffled his feet quickly to get it back to David Silva. On to Tevez. He's got a chance to play Aguero into a decent position here, but he's stopped early enough by Shana. Here's Kone. Took two to stop him. After winning the cup here against Stoke, Manchester City were then drawn in the first involvement of the following season, the third round, home to Manchester United, and they lost that. So it was almost a fallow year in the competition. They've come back strong this time. When you think they hadn't won a major piece of silverware for 35 years, they won the FA Cup, Premier League, and here they are, favourites to win an FA Cup again, although it's not been favourites on what we've seen so far. We're going to have done very well. Just wonder why Roberto Mancini is being seen as someone that they can afford to get rid of, if indeed that is the case. But here is Espinosa, down he goes, and Andre Mariner says, I'm not going to give it. And the Wigan fans who are watching from a long way away, most of them anyway, not happy. Stuart Robson.
Well, my first thought was that Zabaleta can't go to ground, he can't make that challenge. And Espinosa does really well. He steps across him, he gets his body in the way. I'm going to say, on first viewing, I would have given a penalty.
That's the only viewing that the referee gets. Andre Mariner said no. David Silva.
Was good to see was Espinosa high up the field as that, the left wing back. Shows how well Wigan are playing at the moment.
A lovely ball in from Clichy. Barry. Tevez with time to turn. Yaya Toure. Good hold up play by Kone. And Alcaraz had made the block, joining in. And a chance here for McManaman to use his pace. He's in for Wigan. It's a difficult angle. Can he set up anyone or go the goal himself? What a goal it would have been. One or two in particular, who were thinking they might have been teed up sometime in that mazy run from Callum McManaman.
What a great run it was. We talked about, he looked as though he lacked pace out on that right-hand side when he went for one ball. There he beat Nastasic. I think he does the right thing here. Not too many other options on. He could have played it back. Once again, a lot of players back in the goal mouth there in the end. Well, he did well to buy himself a bit of time, didn't he?
Maloney play it through for Espinosa. Real penetration from Wigan Athletic. They've needed their goalkeeper to make one outstanding save, but they might have had a penalty themselves. We haven't really had another look at that yet. Shana knew that he'd undercooked the header.
And he dived across Carlos Tevez. City's fans who are a little bit more nervous at the moment and happy with their team's performance. Martinez and Wigan fans will be quite pleased. They've got a bit of penetration. They're winning the ball back in midfield as they've done here. They look to counter. He's doing well as the main striker. Man on that right-hand side is causing problems.
Jordi Gomez. Boyce reflecting the confidence, but maybe a bit of overconfidence there. Snapped back by Gareth Barry. Here's Yaya Toure. Open field to the game. But 8 minutes or so to go to half-time. Clichy blocked by MacArthur, who would have been the first choice, I think, when you saw the team sheet to be the right wing back. Well, McCarthy definitely started there. MacArthur had a stint in that position in the game against Swansea on Tuesday. But here's David Silva. Very good work. Wigan might all go to waste here. Nasri can find a cutback, and it's touched across, but not near Tevez or Aguero by Silva. And here comes Espinosa. It's an absorbing game.
Good tactical game as well. I have to say, apart from trying to hold too high a line, Wigan are just about winning it at the moment. Espinosa has made 2 runs inside, and we think for what I thought was a penalty. Here it is again. Those runs that Zabaleta normally makes up the other end. And he leans across him. Oh, that's a dive.
Went late, didn't he?
Zabaleta shouldn't go to ground here. He gave him every chance. He does catch him, but a dive in the end. And the referee gets that one absolutely right. There's the contact. Could have stayed on his feet. It looks like he could stay on his feet and get the shot away.
I guess that's what Andre Mariner thought. Zabaleta relieved and then dismissive when he got the decision. Only when he got the decision.
Must have been in his mouth there, because what Espinosa did really well was just lean across him, so Zabaleta couldn't get at the ball.
Espinosa tries again. His better passes. It's been effective in his first almost 40 minutes. Sharma. You feel at the top of their game. City may well have plenty in reserve. It's rather been the story of their season. You know, they've got fantastic individuals, and in the Premier League last season they were a terrific team. They haven't been a terrific team this season. Awful time in the Champions League, admittedly in a difficult section. Here's Kone. Strong. Confident. Very popular figure around the club.
Going back to what you said, yes, Man City may have a couple of gears left in them, but if you start off slowly, it's sometimes difficult to pick it up. You want to, it just doesn't happen. Zabaleta.
Zabaleta might go on here. Comes out to Barry. Always wanted it on his left foot. And Joel hangs on.
Well, there we see Zabaleta going up the other end again, doing to Espinosa what Espinosa did to him a little while ago. He's lucky, Espinosa. He flies into the challenge. Real conviction in the effort from Gareth Barry.
I just feel that Leicester City work on the premise that they've got talented individuals out there, that they'll come up with something. Piece of interplay, a stunning shot, powerful run. Aguero scored recently in the Manchester derby at Old Trafford, a wonderful individual goal. They could do it here, but the team play has come from Wigan Athletic, his team.
good in midfield. I thought it might be a worry for him with Gomez in there, that he'd be overrun by Yaya Toure, but it hasn't been the case. Tevez hasn't been able to get on the ball and the space in between the midfield players and the back players and pick out passes, and this man, David Silva, really hasn't contributed very much. Here's another example of it.
Espinosa, no one to play it long to, because Kone, as you saw, come deep. He found Maloney, who finds McCarthy, who finds MacArthur. Two Scots, two Jameses from the same club, Hamilton. They play for the same country. McCarthy is thrown in his lot with the Republic of Ireland. Toure. There's Nasri. Zabaleta. David Silva. Tevez. Left two upfield. Nasri. Tevez. Good pressing by those Wigan have kept back. Way through Yaya Toure's pass. There isn't, because it's offside against the advanced Clichy.
Wigan made it difficult for Man City to play through them here. Look how narrow they are. Clichy times his run, just stays onside. That's the sort of ball that can beat them. A little 1-2, square 1-2.
And they couldn't keep it that time. Tevez stays on his feet. Aguero, who thought he might he slid through the middle there. Nasri. Silva. Edin Dzeko is on the bench. Can't really toss the ball into the box. They're concentrating on trying to play a way through. It's been difficult. Crossing opportunity there. It was spurned from a reasonable angle too. Nasri winding up, beaten away by Joel. He's had a very good first half when called upon. Third to Ali Al-Habsi. He is the goalkeeper who plays in the Premier League games these days. Espinosa. 45th minute. We understand maybe one more minute to come of added time. Impressive first half of their first ever FA Cup final for Wigan Athletic.
Certainly played their part. After the first 5 or 6 minutes, when Man City had all the play, it looks like they were going to cause problems. And they've been the better side. Manchester City have been lethargic. Well, when they've switched to play, Wigan broken the ball up in midfield and played around the pressure that Man City have tried to put on them. And apart from holding, on occasions, too high and too flat a line, caused them too many problems.
Goes the board, and it is one added minute. Boyce. Zabaleta steers it away, be collected by David Silva. Maybe for one last attack. Ooh, and McCarthy thought he could steal it then, and good pressure. But he's forced company to play it out. They've gone about their business like a team with no great weight of expectation on their shoulders.
And that's good midfield play. He goes to close Yaya Toure down, but when Yaya Toure plays it back to come, he doesn't stop there, he goes again. He realised he could put company under pressure.
Concern for Roberto Mancini and his assistant David Platt. Half-time, yes. Carlos Tevez, one good chance. Callum McManaman sprang through the City defence, but couldn't find a scoring shot. He's had some very promising moments in a team that's certainly not been overawed by their first FA Cup final. Tevez' effort kept out by Joel's feet. And at half-time here at Wembley Stadium, the 2013 FA Cup final. It's Manchester City 0, Wigan Athletic 0.
About the Wigan thing is, if the players walk off the field having played this way in the first half or even the second half, even if they lose the game, you've had a good time. Whereas when you look at the game, Manchester City-Stoke game, where Stoke just parked the bus.
No one had a good time.
That's soul-destroying.
No one watching around the world had a good time. And that's your point, friend, is not just are the players, of course, enjoying it. This is the way it should be played. But there was talk in the press about how this final, aside from the rugby codes, this final has really put Wigan on the map internationally. And now you're in the FA Cup final. There are certainly tens, if not hundreds of millions of people watching this around the world. And they now know that Wigan exists in football, notwithstanding they watch them anyway at times in the Premier League. But now they know you actually can play football as well. And people would have enjoyed that, like us, enjoyed what they put on display in the first half. And that's still an important part of the game. I think Martinez has done magnificently in that first half. The real thing for me, Driller, is in the second half now, how will Roberto Mancini respond? Will he change his midfield? Will he perhaps bring in a Silva into the middle there, go to a 3 in the middle? But then what's he going to do up front? Or is he going to maintain Aguero and Tevez and his back four, or is he going to adjust to try and get some control, or does he think, Fran, that basically my quality players in the second half, at some point we're going to get something?
One thing he has done, Martinez, I think if you look, I've been keeping my eye on Yaya. Every time the ball comes off the keeper, Maloney's straight up him.
Always.
He always up him. I think Maloney's actually followed Yaya.
Usually, but not always. Not always. Others, at times, Kone does when he comes out wide, then to get on. So they've done it zonally. It's just that Maloney is in the middle. But you're exactly right. I remember Manchester City playing against Dortmund in the Champions League this year, and what Dortmund did very clearly was they stopped extremely well Yaya Toure playing, and Martinez has done the same thing, friend.
All right, action about to get underway in the second half at Wembley. Let's go back to Stuart Robson and Martin Tyler.
Certainly my first view of it was that it was a penalty. Zabaleta went to ground because he had no chance of winning the ball, and there was contact. But we saw that Espinosa tried to make the most of it, which didn't do him any favours, I don't think.
Roberto Martinez, whatever happens now, can say his team have shown that they're worthy of an occasion like this. And maybe they can take their confidence even further in the second half and get a goal. You sometimes wonder, when the underdogs play so well and don't score, whether they will look back on that first half as a missed opportunity. City haven't really got into their silky stride. Chasing by Tevez, tidying up by Shana. No substitutions from either of the two Robertos at half-time. First time, incidentally, for 50 years since we've had a cup final with two managers with the same Christian name. And it was Matt Busby of Manchester United and Matt Gillies of Leicester City, and the Manchester Matt, Sir Matt as he became, won on that day by 3-1.
Once again, Yaya Toure was slow to see the pass. The thing that Mancini was talking to Nasri about was to try and run in between MacArthur and the centre-half, Boyce, and allow Clichy to come on the overlap. 2 or 3 times it looks like he's timed his run well, and Yaya Toure hasn't found the right pass.
Kone. McCarthy trying to hit it with the outside of the foot, got more of the laces on it. James Milner limbering up for Manchester City. He was out in his technical area right before the players came from the dressing room during the half-time break. Not unusual for Roberto Mancini, incidentally. Espinosa. By Company. Here's Zabaleta. Cleared by Alcaraz. Tidely dealt with by Espinosa. And just delayed and gave Wigan the free kick against the City skipper.
He tries to win the ball from the back. He does win the ball. It's impossible to challenge from behind these days. They had a good first half. Some of these link-up plays, movement, trying to run in behind Zabaleta. Drifting out to this left-hand side.
40 points and 16 places in the Premier League, the difference between these two clubs. Certainly hasn't been writ large over this FA Cup final so far, but City now with Tevez looking hungrier for success here, and Nasri. But, the product hasn't been what Manchester City have been seeking.
Good defending from MacArthur and McCarthy, which he wants to come back on his right foot. McCarthy's ready for that. Forces him wide, and in the end it's a poor cross. I knew there wasn't space for Clichy to go on the overlap. It was better defending from the players on the right-hand side.
Aguero, whose goal this equivalent weekend a year ago took the title away from Manchester United and brought it to the Etihad Stadium, the home of Manchester City. Funny enough, their previous title win back in 1968 was followed by an FA Cup success. They've got the chance to make history repeat itself here.
It's the goal that made those red and black stripes famous.
Yeah,
it was the second strip for Man City.
Against Leicester, who were relegated, as Wigan might be this season. Lovely work by Tevez. Oh, well, going in at the near post was Sergio Aguero, and when he got a touch, you thought 1-0 Manchester City.
Well, Boyce does really well here. Not so much Shano, who gets beaten far too easily by Tevez. There's the run. And Boyce just gets a nick on it. Last-ditch defending. Aguero's run was excellent to get across the front of him.
And towards Company, who likes to make a run towards the near post. Watched by Shana.
Well, just complaining that he was blocked when all that was happening. Nowhere near the ball. Started to come.
Yes, Tevez and Aguero trying to make it difficult for Joel, the goalkeeper. Whipped in again. Company going there again. And it ends up on the roof of the net, and it's a goal kick.
Well, it looks though Company was the player that had the chance. Just backs off of Shani. He doesn't actually win it himself. It comes off Boyce. Boyce's shoulder here. He actually heads it back towards his own goal. Boyce. He gets lucky that it hits Joel. Quite sure how that was a goal kick.
For Wigan to win, they've got to play very well, and they've been doing that. They have to have a bit of luck as well. So over the course of 90 minutes and maybe 2 hours, you would expect Manchester City to show moments of their real top-class abilities. Only fleeting glimpses to this point. Alcaraz. Espinosa's got a lot of room. This is Maloney. He does possess very clever changes of direction, light on his feet.
That was an opportunity, 1v1 against a backpedaling Zabaleta. Barry hadn't got on the down on the cover particularly quickly.
Espinosa, City's throw.
Certainly be the happier of the two managers going in at half-time. It's really changed the start of this second half, apart from Aguero getting across the front of Boyce, who defended it well eventually.
Company played it through the Wigan midfield momentarily, but Martinez's men biting back. And here's Clichy. Left back with good attacking instincts. Nasri. Toure wanting it to float it into the box. He does provide some height when he gets in there, and of course he is a proven Wembley goal scorer.
Not quick enough from Manchester City. Nasri picked up the ball to start with, and he had Clichy. Passed too slowly, allowed Wigan to get back in. We're going to see Milner really give a bit of width out on the right-hand side in place of Silva. Really come into a central area.
And goes McCarthy. Oh, he won it from Barry. And Kone thought he could be played through then, but Andre Mariner deemed that a foul by the Wigan number 10.
It probably was as well. It was a moment though. Kone had made the run. They are switching on when they win back possession. Wigan.
Nasri. Milner waits for his arrival, still getting some instructions. He was a substitute not used in the final in 2011. It's going to be used here. Yaya Toure. Nasri. It's an impressive work rate from Wigan. They're going to keep those standards, or need to keep those standards, if they're going to cause the cup upset here. David Silva. Ooh, that would have been one for the FA Cup final archives. If Tevez could have acrobatically turned that in.
He was always getting away from him. He set the play up, then made the run forward, and for the first time I've seen Silva play a decent ball over the top. Just couldn't get in line with it here. Tevez got his boot behind it. It's going to be Samir Nasri that's going to come off. And straight away, Silva has come to this left-hand side. That means that Milner will go on the right.
Obvious disappointment as an individual. It'll all disappear if Milner comes on and plays a part in a win for Manchester City. And Nasri, having left the game early, does leave the stadium with a winner's souvenir. Here's Maloney. Espinosa won't get there. Toure. Hasn't yet really given one of his thrilling bursts from that part of the pitch where he blows the opposition away. Tevez. Clichy holding to try and stay onside. Gets it from David Silva. Teased in by Clichy. Wigan queuing up to head it away. Milner to make an instant impact. Kone. Supported by Jordi Gomez. Nicely worked to Kone by McCarthy, who was fouled as he played it, but referee Mariner saying on you go to Wigan, and they may well appreciate that decision. McManaman hasn't seen so much of the ball so far in the second half, but he's dangerous when he gets it, as that incident shows, and Wigan get a corner.
Well, he doesn't do too much to go past Clichy. It's obvious where he was going to go, just a change of pace. Clichy didn't get the tackle right. It's obvious where he's going to go. Now Clichy tries to go with his wrong foot, and that allows McManaman to get the cross in. Well blocked by Company. Shana will get a run on this. So too Boyce with
Alcaraz as well. And they go short. And Jordi Gomez's corner. Right to MacArthur. Manchester City pushing out. Maybe wasn't quite what the Wigan fans behind that goal were hoping to see. I think some of the Wigan players weren't too impressed with the variation on the corner.
That was a waste, wasn't it? Put pressure on Man City, make them defend.
Well, they're not the biggest team, are they? Of course, they've got a very commanding goalkeeper. Perhaps keep the ball away from him in the air.
Although Yaya Toure is a big player, I don't think he defends set plays particularly well. I've reviewed a lot of goals against Man City at set plays, and it's Yaya Toure that's often gone to sleep.
Milner. Step over doesn't work. Aguero. Out comes James McCarthy with some aplomb. Just ran it out.
When he wants to, he can motor, can't he? Yaya Toure was embarrassed first leap by McCarthy. He shows his pace and power, gets back in. You'd like to see it a bit more often.
Manchester City, when you look at their statistics over the last couple of seasons, they don't score many early goals. They are a side capable of wearing down the opposition by their passing. And here is David Silva. Aguero is well off the ball, and Andre Mariner having turned one down for Wigan at that end. You might feel that Aguero was looking to make the most of the contact, and he was never going to get the ball, I don't think.
No, he wouldn't got the ball. Interesting to see whether he gave Shana a little nudge to start with, or whether Shana struggling to tug him down. But as I said, it was off the ball, difficult for the referee to see.
Maloney. Jordi Gomez. Waiting for Espinosa. He started to go, then checked. Kane in the box for Wigan. Jordi Gomez again, Espinosa again. Shana survived that tangle with Aguero. City's last attack. Espinosa used the pace on the pass to get away.
There is that incident again, a little over. Well, he's offside anyway when the ball was played. I think he throws himself to the ground, but he was offside in the first place. See how he backed into Shana to make the contact. And as Shana fell over, I think his hand may have just caught Aguero.
Company's header. Barry. Silva, who was such a little magician in the title-winning season, certainly the first two-thirds of it. Quite picked up his best form in this campaign. Who will work and work and work, and will relish the opportunity to play on the ground that he knows well, of course, from his England career. Play for his club.
So Silva's gone into a more central area.
Short corner, Wigan are a little bit asleep. McManaman. Kane goes outside him. And Zabaleta might well get a caution here. Does. Took one for the team.
There was a couple of passes on. Had he got to the ball, McManaman. McCarthy made a really good run through the centre of the field. There's that change of direction. Just catches him. Aguero was getting back. There it is.
Yeah, any little touch when you're moving McManaman's pace, you do tend to be knocked off your balance. It was late from Shana, but City had kept the ball. How can they use it? Milner. Well, it's gone across the face of the goal, and in the end Wigan survived that. With David Silva coming in, Zabaleta involved, getting ahead of the play.
Well, could he have dived at the far post? This is good play from Milner to see the run of Zabaleta. Slid in. I think he could have done. Certainly made more effort. Just tried to stay on side to start with. Zabaleta again, making that drive-in run.
It's the sort of moment that an instinctive goal scorer would have gone in on, and I don't put David Silva in that category, and he wouldn't put himself in that category either.
I think he wants to make the goals, doesn't he? He wants to play that inch-perfect pass.
Confirmation of the earlier booking for Zabaleta. Steady and composure, as he always is, Roberto Martinez. Could play for Wigan when they were lower down the football pyramid. I believe was the first Spaniard ever to score in the FA Cup. Ooh.
Gomez, the player fouling here, takes a big swipe at the ball, just catches Tevez. Around about the chest area.
And it was there again. He actually knew he wasn't going to get it, but still followed through with the foot. And that's an interesting angle from Manchester City. Rely more on movement than perhaps specific ability to out-jump an opponent.
I always think this is dangerous. I know many coaches would disagree. I think Wigan are too high. It's almost inviting them. Well, they've got to run back towards their own goal here as the ball's played in.
Yeah, might even go in front of their defenders. But doesn't go in at all. And doesn't go anywhere near any dangerous opponent as far as Wigan are concerned. David Silva reflects on another moment that might have been, but certainly wasn't.
Quite so animated on the side today, has he, Roberto Mancini?
Well, he's read the papers, which are full of stories here in the United Kingdom that he will be replaced by Pellegrini as the Manchester City boss. The all change in managers in Manchester. McManaman, MacArthur, Konak, Maloney, Konak, Jordi Gomez, a short back lift.
That's good play again from Wigan in and around the box. Composed. Konak finds Gomez. Could he have hit it first time? I think once he stops it, he's got to try and wrap his foot round it. It's always going to be difficult to cause a problem to Joe Hart.
Of FA Cup history are full of players who have made a name for themselves in this FA Cup final by scoring a crucial goal. And the closer we get towards the 90-minute mark at 0-0, the opportunity is for one of the cast out here on the show on your stage in front of you to become the headline maker and the FA Cup winner. Silva. Good work by Milner. Stopped well by Jordi Gomez.
Well, he certainly defended better than I thought he would. He can pass the ball with his left foot and he can score a goal. Questions defensive qualities. He's done well.
Espinosa. Looking for Maloney. It might run on here. It does for MacArthur. McManaman's onside. Maloney and Kone are in the middle. McManaman. He's still got it. He stood it up, but Kone, I think, maybe momentarily had thought it wasn't coming in. Espinosa's on the scene. Jordi Gomez. McManaman to try again. He's got to David Silva and he's way past him. McManaman. Manchester City surviving by the skin of their teeth. The thrust of Callum McManaman. Back in by Espinosa. Volleyed away with a bit more assurance by Nastasic that time.
Magnificent play from this man here, McManaman. Really poor defending from Silva. Then Clichy turns his back on it. The company comes to the rescue. He's such a danger. McManaman down this right-hand side. He's got a good change of pace. Changes direction quickly.
Well, should be getting the ball out to him a bit more often, you would feel, but through the left of the team at the moment. Jordi Gomez. Kone says he was fouled. The fans support him, but the referee doesn't.
I think they're quite right to go down the left-hand side and then when it opens up and then switch the play out to him when there's a bit more space for him to run at the defender, because he certainly had the beating of Gael Clichy, and I've seen a lot of Gael Clichy over the years. He rarely gets beaten in 1v1 situations. He's a really good defender. I've seen Nunny give him a hard time once at Manchester United.
Rodwell. Second change.
Just interesting to see who he's going to come on for. Still haven't been impressed with Silva. I don't think he's affected the game. Could they go to a back three in some way?
Well, the buzzword at Wigan is believe, and there's plenty of belief amongst the supporters, and the players have shown it right from the off.
Could be Clichy that makes way. As I've never seen him beaten quite so easily as he has here.
Could be a move to get Yaya Toure further up the pitch,
which will be a good move, because that's where he's at his best. I saw him a lot pre-season when actually Man City were playing with a back three, and he played off the two strikers, and he was absolutely dynamic in that position, picking up the ball, running with it, playing 1-2s with the front players. I think he's a little bit stifled when he plays in that holding role next to Gareth Barry.
Here's Clichy. David Silva. Ooh, Joel got it back just as quickly as he let it slip.
Ooh, so he used soft hands there. Just let the ball hit the hands and drop in front of him. Some might say he just dropped it.
Yeah. Well, we'll wait to see. Roberto Mancini's substitutions have been at times hard to predict. Jack Rodwell is coming on, and Carlos Tevez with a rueful grin that will mask his personal disappointment as the player replaced.
You're absolutely right. Rodwell's going to play. He's actually going to play as the holding midfielder. They're going to play Silva in behind Aguero, and they're going to play three in central midfield. And Rodwell's the holding player. Barry and Yaya Toure a little bit further advanced. Looks like the change.
McCarthy's got a free kick out of that. We plead not to make a mistake here. McCarthy goes at 2-1 up against Swansea on Tuesday night. He had a golden opportunity to make it 3-1, and they ended up losing 3-2. And for all the glory that's at stake today, the prime consideration for Wigan Athletic is to stay in the Premier League. They play away here in London at Arsenal on Tuesday, and a week tomorrow they're at home to Aston Villa, who were beaten today by Chelsea, the only Premier League game played, beaten at home by Chelsea after taking the lead.
Of course, the worst thing for Wigan will be to go down and to lose in this game, just as Brighton did many years ago. They went to a replay against Manchester United. Just not functioning properly here, Manchester City. Supporters very frustrated.
A couple more recently than Brighton, Stuart. Middlesbrough 1997, Portsmouth only 3 years ago. But at least Portsmouth had won the cup a couple of years before that.
I think I was just showing my age.
Well, you're then not surprised that I mentioned Manchester City. It happened to them in 1926. Lost the cup final and were relegated. Wigan aren't losing the cup final. They're giving Manchester City a real game here. And here's David Silva a bit further forward, not releasing Yaya Toure, it seems, but Jack Rodwell had a really injury-hit time in his first season with Manchester City. Silva comes out to Clichy. 4 in there for Clichy to try and find, and Yaya Toure is one of them, and the most likely, of course. Here's Barry. Now Milner. Tangle with Espinosa in front of the assistant, who has flagged for the free kick.
That's a poor chance. He goes with his wrong foot there, Espinosa. Can't reach the ball. Always going to be a free kick. But then amongst the move before that was a great header by Shana at the far post up against Yaya Toure. And the ball was slung in by Gael Clichy.
Stasic in there. He's never scored for Manchester City. Now would be a time to open his account. But they'll take it any which way. Wigan have 71 minutes really belied their lowly status. Could this be the crucial moment in the 2013 FA Cup final? Nearly. That's the answer to that. Jack Rodwell.
Certainly a chance when the ball came in. Jack Rodwell, he is good in the air. I always felt when he was at Everton at some point he may move back to be a centre-half, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Still playing in midfield.
Kone. Hustled out of it by Zabaleta. Yaya Toure. More of an edge to Manchester City's play now. Yaya Toure in the sort of area where he can be so effective. He's passed it back to David Silva. It's a rash challenge there by Shana. Kone, very conscious that Zabaleta was at him again. It is a back three, isn't it, with Zabaleta in the middle. And Company, Nastasic either side, Milner and Clichy the wing-backs. McManaman. It's over Kone, Espinosa coming in. Here's Jordi Gomez.
Great opportunity there for Gomez to whip the ball in. Man City were disorganised in the box. Kone, Maloney had made good runs. Well, I think it was only that Zabaleta had gone back into a middle centre-half just for the moment there when they were disorganised. He's now gone back out to right-back.
It's something that you mentioned it, they did it in pre-season, Stuart. They've seen a lot of Manchester City games this season, and if you're being critical, you say mess around with it, but of course that's unfair on the coaching staff. They try to employ it to change games. They did it in the Champions League without too much success. Sometimes the players look confused. McManaman, who's made City look confused at times here at Wembley today. On he goes, and he's impeded by Nastasic.
Now, they obviously still haven't got themselves organised here because Nastasic goes to close the ball down without any urgency. And Clichy should have been working much quicker. He was jogging back, Clichy. Should have been inside. As soon as there was space in between those two players, it was obvious where McManaman was going to go. He certainly has been a threat.
Yellow card for Matija Nastasic. Free kick to Wigan. The artful Maloney is over it.
You said it up the other end. Could this be the moment?
Yeah.
Could this one be the moment?
For Dave Whelan, for Wigan Athletic, for those who champion the cause of the underdog, as this competition has done often enough. Wind up zonally, Manchester City. Taken by Maloney. Oh, and it's scraped the frame of the goal.
I'm sure he can't have gone for the shot. He must have been trying to whip this into the box, but Joe Hart was fairly confident it was going over the bar. He's just trying to wrap his foot round it. Putting back down, isn't it, at the far post? It's a lot of height, and it looks like it was going right out the back, and that's exactly what Joe Hart thought. Doesn't make any effort to move his feet.
Well, often, Stuart, the cup final day coming in early May, it's the warmest day of the year so far, and it's hard for the players. We've seen a lot of dehydration in cup finals in the past. Not today. The hydration is coming from on high. It's pouring down at Wembley. And here's McManaman, who's been pouring down on Manchester City.
He used to be able to guarantee the two hottest days of the year, one on the first day of the season and one on cup final day.
Zabaleta. Barry. David Silva. Aguero. Threatened in the first 20 minutes of the game, but hasn't found too much involvement from that point on. Clichy. By Shana, slapped by Zabaleta as Kone got there first, but good work on the way back by Rodwell. Yaya Toure. Remember, they won the Cup, Manchester City, in 2011, 1-0. Latish goal from Yaya Toure. David Silva. This is Aguero. Rodwell. Company. Wigan sitting in and looking to express themselves on the break, particularly through McManaman.
You said in the first half, absolutely, that Manchester City will probably have a couple of gears to go up. They can't find those extra gears at the moment, still playing at too slow a tempo.
Here's Clichy, a good angle for the cross. So Shana diving at it, diverting it to Kone. Out comes Espinosa. He looks for McManaman. Company able to deal with what was a bit of a slice pass from the Honduran.
I'm not sure why he hit the ball in the air. There was a ball that he could have played in between the two centre halves. McManaman made a really good run from outside to in.
Barry. Yaya Toure. He explode onto the Wembley scene again. Rodwell. Yaya Toure in the middle. Aguero's in the middle. Rodwell. Picking out Clichy. Aguero nearly got it down, and he might get there first, and does. Flick off the mark. Now David Silva. Yaya Toure. Deflected. Corner for Manchester City.
Well defended by Wigan again. And Yaya Toure just came in on his right foot. He realised the first run, and Aguero was going to go offside, so they squeezed Yaya Toure and got the block in. About 3 or 4 players that went to close him down.
Coming towards the last 10 minutes, if it's going to be settled in the 90. Joel coming out and very positive. It's on the move. That's Ben Watson getting some instructions from Roberto Martinez. Only just back, fit and available again from a broken leg. Here's Espinosa. 4 forward for Wigan in this attack. McManaman. Alarm bells ringing in the Manchester City defence. Maloney. Kone.
And the pass out to McManaman wasn't a good one. It just slowed him down, allowed Silva to force him inside.
Maloney. Here's Boyce. MacArthur. Kone. Good pressure by Company. One of the best around it, doing that without going to ground, without getting it. He has had a couple of red cards from the challenges from behind. But for the most part, he does his job very effectively. And Ben Watson will replace Jordi Gomez.
Well played, Jordi Gomez. He likes to be a free player. We're playing a 3-man midfield. He was playing in a 2-man midfield, so there was a lot of responsibility on him defensively. And he did the job well. He stopped Barry and Yaya Toure dictating the game.
Shana. Watson. McManaman. Perhaps more than any other individual deserves to be a match winner today. He's offered moments of real inspiration. That's a strange one off Maloney, and Watson's arriving, but maybe Maloney handled.
If there's one thing Watson can do, it's shoot. He's a very good crossfield passer of the ball. And he was trying to get out of the way, he's saying.
Wigan raining on his parade. I mentioned it right at the start. Stuart, that 7 games, the last 7 games between these two clubs, Wigan haven't scored, but most of the games have been very close. A lot of 1-0s in there.
When the game started off and Wigan were playing such a high line, and it looked as though Manchester City were going to pick it off at every opportunity. Can't believe that the score is still 0-0. When you look through those first half highlights, there were some missed opportunities. Certainly hasn't been a negative game.
Into the area where players fear not so much losing, but them being responsible for losing, and it leads to maybe change of philosophy. He wants his players to be positive and be assured of that. Just wonder how it's awkward for McCarthy. Could be conceived as handball. It's just given as a throw. Which way is it going to go? Toure. Done well. Clichy. Lining up. Even when they get it wide, there's no real conviction that an attack across, certainly one in the air and score. There was that one early in the second half that came in low for Aguero. It's Gareth Barry giving it away. Kone, McManaman, right man, right place. Can he go all the way? Across comes Zabaleta. He's got to go. Manchester City are in trouble here. Company feeling that McManaman made too much of it, but I don't think he's got grounds for that. The second yellow for Pablo Zabaleta.
Why, oh why did he go to ground? There's no way I think McManaman would have got there in the end. He just had to back off. Now he's got a problem. How's he going to reorganise? Well, he's sorting it out fairly quickly. Does he get to the ball first? Yes, he does. Yeah. And there's no question about it. It's a foul, and a poor one from Zabaleta. He cannot go to ground here. He knows he's been booked. He's not going to get to the ball first. His angle of recovery had to be back towards his own goal and just hold up McManaman.
Well, the previous players red carded in FA Cup finals. Kevin Moran, Manchester United against Everton, 1985, ended up with a winner's medal. Jose Antonio Reyes, Arsenal against Manchester United, 2005, ended up with a winner's medal.
I still picture the goal Norman Whiteside scored in that game you're talking about, where Kevin Moran got sent off.
So what an opportunity for Wigan Athletic here. Of course, it's never as easy as it sounds. 11 against 10. Maloney, who scored a wonderful free kick recently to get a point at Queen's Park Rangers very late in that game.
Well, that's the new technique that everybody's using at the moment. Doesn't try to hit it too hard, just hits the back of the ball. Short follow through, just gets that dip on it, as he did when he hit the bar for the cross into the box.
Aguero's offside.
Milner has gone to right back, as you would expect. Yaya Toure going to play 3 in central midfield. Yaya Toure is the holding player. Rodwell and Barry either side, and Silva in behind Aguero. That looks to be the way they're playing at the moment. Silva will drop back in a little bit deeper, as he's doing now.
Alcaraz. MacArthur. In that match I mentioned at Queen's Park Rangers when Maloney scored late, QPR had a player sent off very early, Bobby Zamora, and Wigan couldn't handle the change of emphasis from being underdogs to being favourites. This is Wembley, and City at the moment hanging on to this 0-0. Booking for Barry now.
Sliding in, trying to stop Maloney getting his shot away or his final pass. Well, the place where there will be space for Wigan now, because of the way Man City are playing, will be in wide areas. Their wide centre-halves have to come out and play. They have to play 10, 15 yards further up the field, so they create a 2v1 against the fullbacks, because they're playing very narrow in midfield, Manchester City. A switch of play will cause Man City problems as well.
Is Maloney going to try again here? Watson is also extremely adept at the free kicks. Trying to beat the England goalkeeper here. Then Watson hits the wall. Boyce steps in. McManaman. McCarthy. Espinosa, the deepest for Wigan. Kone gets it down. Maloney. Step over, the shot's blocked. Can't get out, Manchester City at the moment. But we are heading, we're a couple of minutes past added time, to extra time here at Wembley.
Man City, as you said, can't get out at the moment. Aguero's made a couple of runs in behind, the ball hasn't found him. Rodwell gives a little nudge here, so the ball will come back at them. What a chance here for Wigan. Well, he's claiming that Barry handballed it, certainly. No chance of a penalty there.
We've got 90 seconds plus 3 added minutes. And the force is with Wigan Athletic. Espinosa. Watson. MacArthur. We need to pass the ball quickly, move Manchester City around. And struggle to draw them out, I think. Certainly in this period until the 90 minutes are up. McManaman setting off past Clichy. He's into the penalty area. Callum McManaman! Oh, and the referee's pointed for a corner.
Big decision here. Once again, McManaman beats Clichy for pace. There's Clichy hanging on to him. And he just gets a little nick on the ball, doesn't he? Oh, Clichy, just with his foot here. Sure he does. From the other angle, it looks like he got a little toe on it. I think what saved him, he didn't go to ground.
All he got, Roberto Martinez, was a corner. Which Maloney takes, and it's in! It's Ben Watson! It's Ben Watson for Wigan Athletic! They've surely won the FA Cup! For Dave Whelan, for Roberto Martinez! You just cannot write scripts like this.
What a ball it was into the box. Ben Watson. Man City are trying to zonal mark, but nobody attacks the ball. Ben Watson comes from a little bit deeper. No chance for Joe Hart. What a shot we've got on our hands here. And how do Man City get back into the game? We're now in added on time. They're a player short. What a performance this man's put in. See Ben Watson makes his run to the near post. Rodwell has to be guarding that near post there. He has to be another 2 or 3 yards. Clichy has to be another 2 or 3 yards. You can't allow players to run across the front. But what a leap and what a good technical header it was from Ben Watson.
What a story. He missed most of the season with a broken leg. The man who's had a broken leg this season for the club run by the man who had a broken leg in the final in 1960. There's a certain symmetry here in 2013. But City aren't dead and buried yet. They've just got to throw the kitchen sink at it. Edin Dzeko is on. Company. And it runs away from David Silva, and the sands of time are running out for Manchester City here. And for Roberto Mancini in his tenure at the club. But McManaman might have won a penalty. All he got was a corner, but what a corner.
And what a performance this man's put in. Without doubt, the man of the match. He's tormented goal, Clichy. He's run at defenders. It's a good delivery from Maloney. That's too easy. No determination from Waddle. Look at the way Watson just runs in front of him. Waddle's got to work hard to get across the front of him. Brilliant header, though, from Watson.
Up towards Kone, who gets a touch. Company. And Joel comes out, gets it out. Dzeko on for Barry. It's the last throw for Manchester City. And it comes out towards Company. Teased back in by Clichy. Company there again. Milner has to turn and chase. All eyes on Andre Mariner.
Can they defend the ball into the box? There will be one more cross. There will be one more ball that they have to defend. Here it comes now. It's not. He hasn't got good control, Milner.
Wigan Athletic are on the brink of the most famous of FA Cup victories. There's no sign of the referee blowing yet. It's Dzeko who wins it. It's Espinosa who half gets it away. Kone chases. Wigan have done it! Unbelievable for Dave Whelan, for Roberto Martinez. Tough to take for Mancini and his men. The late goal has made Ben Watson a hero here. He's not exactly Big Ben, but he chimed at Wembley today. The man with the ginger hair got his head to the corner. Manchester City then down to 10 men with Zabaleta sending off. But Wigan, Stuart Robson certainly deserved it.
They did deserve it. They defended well, apart from the first 10 minutes. They played well in midfield, but they also were a real threat on the counter. And they had the most dynamic player on the field, McManaman, out on the right wing. He went past players, he got crosses in, and Kone led the line brilliant. And some of the big-name players at Man City didn't perform. They played at too slow a tempo, they didn't play well individually, and they certainly didn't play well as a team. And this man deserves a lot of credit for the way he set up his team today.
Never underestimate the underdog in the FA Cup. And the grand old competition has delivered again. And Roberto Martinez, who has been able to switch off from a relegation battle, yet another relegation battle. But what heart they'll take into their last two league games. They have toppled the side that sits second in the Premier League, the champions from last season, here in the FA Cup final. And you can argue all you like that Manchester City didn't turn up, but you could easily argue that Wigan didn't let them turn up. They were at it right from the start. And City never found those extra gears, Stuart.
No, they didn't find those extra gears, and Milner's having a row with one or two of his own players here. It's not good to see, but this man is enjoying every moment. We have to give Shana a bit of credit as well. There was a couple of moments when balls came into the box. He got his head on them in front of Yaya Toure. They didn't test Joe Hart that much. They certainly had a lot of the play. They played well on the counter. I think they organised themselves well. Maloney, Kone, McManaman. Remember, they had so many defenders out. It was a makeshift back three and the two wing backs.
Look at that scoreline. Manchester City 0, Wigan Athletic 1. 40 points between them in the Premier League, 16 places, and there's disbelief in both ranks, really. City are shocked to their core, their lack of a performance here. But Wigan, there's Ali El-Habsi. He won't be worrying about being left out of the goal. Joel played brilliantly when he was called upon, who was called in today, but this is the man of the moment, Ben Watson.
Well, everybody remembers Laurie Sanchez, don't they, for that goal for Wimbledon. Everybody will now remember Ben Watson for years to come. Similar sort of ball into the box, only from the other side where Laurie Sanchez scored for Wimbledon against Liverpool. This was an even better header.
And you think of the 1-0 winners, Ian Porterfield, Roger Osborne for Ipswich, Bobby Stokes for Southampton in the 70s. A lifetime's work in the game for Dave Whelan for a day like this.
And don't forget this man here, Joel. Remember that one in the first half, Tevez got the whole goal to aim for. Yes, he was stretching for it. He tries to play it back across the goalkeeper, Joel. It just hits his toe and goes over the bar. That was so early on in the game. That could have really spelt danger for Wigan. It wasn't to be.
Well, a year ago, almost to the day, Joe Hart was running like crazy around the Etihad Stadium to celebrate a win of a trophy, a title win in that case, in a very similar late circumstance. But today they're on the wrong end of it all.
And Wigan had a couple of opportunities and good shouts for penalties. This man, looks as though he was brought down in the first half by Zabaleta.
Yeah, no one's worrying about that now. But they've come up short, Manchester City, this season. Second in the league. They haven't even clinched that yet, incidentally.
And they showed everything today why they haven't been the same team as they were last season. Said it before the game. Man City have problems when they play at too slow a tempo, when they just think they can pass their way through and eventually it will come. It doesn't always come if you play that way. We've seen them away at Southampton get outplayed, outfought, outrun. When they play at a high tempo, when they match the opposition for work rate and effort, they're a very good side. But they weren't a good side today, Manchester City.
You just feel, as the game was wearing on, that Wigan would perhaps have blown their gasket, really, that they would have given so much and that they've confounded that particular line of inquiry. But they needed a scoring substitute. Ben Watson, who's spent most of the time this season on the treatment table. And, well, he won't mind that, because at the end of it all, there's a place in the history books. Now they've got to stay in the Premier League. But they've surely given themselves a great chance. They need a result to go maybe for them tomorrow, a couple of results involving teams like Norwich and Newcastle. But look at that. That's a post-mortem with long faces.
When Ben Watson was told to go on, I'm sure...
He wasn't told to go on and head the winner.
He was told to probably go on and just make sure you do a good defensive job in midfield, make sure we don't get outnumbered in there or outrun. Just go and sit in there. And about 20 minutes later, maybe less than that, he's the match winner. Incredible for some of, not these supporters, but these ones here.
They couldn't muster enough supporters to sell out their semi-final allocation, because they are relatively new kids on the block.
I was talking to you before the game. I came here before at the old Wembley. They were playing in the playoff game against Gillingham. Gillingham had 30, 40,000. Wigan had about 4,000 or 5,000, stuck in one corner. A game which they didn't win. Now the club has come forward.
I was asking the Wigan lads whether they called him Billy Joel, but they said, who's Billy Joel? I'm afraid I showed my age again.
And your music taste.
Yeah.
What for these Manchester City supporters? They thought this was their day.
As I say, it's rained on their parade, but they're singing in the rain, the Wigan supporters. Just incredible. Just the FA Cup.
And it can only happen in the FA Cup as well. What I was brought up on as a boy, the biggest game you watched on television was the World Cup. The second biggest was the FA Cup.
Well, you and I do share something. We've played in the FA Cup. Mine was in the qualifying rounds. Yours in the real thing, but it was still a thrill. You had to sign a special form to be registered for it, and when you were asked to do that, you knew you'd done something, even in a non-league career. Well, they haven't done themselves proud today, Manchester City. And, consolation from their fans who are lining the steps. On a grim afternoon weather-wise, it's just wondering whether we know there's a change in the order at Manchester United, whether there will be at Manchester City. It certainly didn't help Roberto Mancini's cause, the way this cup final has unfolded.
Well, if there was any doubt before the game, I think that's taken away now. Mancini's done an excellent job, but difficult circumstances for him now. His team didn't play for him. They were lacklustre.
Just wonder whether Zabaleta's allowed to go up and get a medal, and whether they've changed the regulations when you're sent off. Anyway, it's all academic really for Manchester City, and it might soon be history for him. As I say, we're not really acting on definite information, but sometimes you can sniff out the way the wind is blowing. The handshakes are cursory. Dignified in victory, Dave Whelan. Not that many owners of football clubs these days in the Premier League are true football men. That's no disrespect to them. They're true financial men. Yep. Dave Whelan has grasped both aspects of the game.
What he's done well, he's stuck with the manager. He likes the philosophy of the manager, the vision that he's had, the way he plays the football. He's given him money at times. He's also backed him when things didn't look quite so good. And he's been rewarded with an FA Cup final win.
Emerson Boyce, the 500th game of his career. It's not been a career littered with honours, but today
I saw him a lot at Luton years ago, watching Matty Taylor. I was doing a lot of watching of young players. Emerson Boyce was one of the one I looked at. I never looked as though he had the technical quality, but he's made the most of his athleticism, and he's learnt to be a very good tactical player.
Gary Caldwell, who has shared the leadership honours and didn't get on the pitch today. He's not 100% fit. He had to play on Tuesday. Did some very good things in the defeat against Swansea. They have to play Wigan on Tuesday coming up, but they go to Arsenal as the holders of the FA Cup. Paul Sharner, one of the great individuals of the contemporary game. Don't rush it, boys. Might never come round again. Roberto Martinez, whose stock was high enough, but it's risen further still. Very, very, very bright young manager. I always say, don't let the cup final day pass you by. I'm sure these Wigan lads will remember every second. They'll watch the reruns over and over again. And David Bernstein just explaining there that the medals have to be handed out first. That's the protocol these days. Little Wigan, the town in Lancashire, are a global name thanks to this magnificent, historic global competition. lost a bit of his place in the pecking order in this country. But around the world, sportsmen stop for the FA Cup. It's Wigan Athletics FA Cup. Yes, Wigan Athletic. Their great Wembley day. And Manchester City stay to join in the applause for the unlikely winners, Stuart Robson.
Unlikely before the game, but as the game wore on, they probably looked the more likely side because they got both aspects of the game right. They defended much better in the second half and all around the field, but they were a threat on the counter and they kept the ball well. And I thought tactically, Martinez beat Mancini today and they deserved their victory.
In cup football, it's all about the result. And sometimes you don't get the performance, but today they've got both, Wigan. And they have got their real reward. Never been beyond the quarter-final before. And here they are with the ultimate prize.
Well, what a day it has been at Wembley today. The biggest upset in the cup final, certainly since 1988, when Wimbledon beat Liverpool by the same scoreline, 1-0. That was 25 years ago. And now this club, which is the youngest club in the Premier League, one of the youngest in professional clubs in England, has now got a major trophy after a heroic performance against Manchester City, probably the club with the highest wage bill in all of the Premier League. Zdrilla?
Fantastic result, and for this man here, Martinez, really just brilliant football. The boys were saying just before we went into the second half is how he plays good football, and now everybody gets to see it. He does this week in, week out in the Premier League, doesn't always get the results, but the football is really of a higher standard. And here in this game, you could see it. Totally outplayed Manchester City. They came into the game in the second half. City, Mancini made a few adjustments, but really on the balance of the whole game, I don't think anyone can argue that Wigan deserved the win. There were a few penalty claims that really should have gone their way as well. Even the goal came from a decision that should have been a penalty, so fully deserved. And just the way that they played, McManaman, man of the match, he was outstanding. Every time he got the ball, he's looking to take his opponent on 1v1, and he could go inside, he could go outside. But there were many good performances for Wigan today, and it's going to really be a big boost for them going into the next two games in the Premier League.
And Manchester United's loss, I would suggest.
Well, he almost went to Liverpool last season. Everyone, I think a few people forget that. That he was very close to going to Liverpool because they recognise what a talent he is as a coach and a technician, to use one of Fozzie's words. And and I think clearly this year and looking at his work. I mean, when you see this game today, it really does tell you a lot